All right, we are.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
our next lesson is called 511. It's called equivalent decimals. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, equivalent comes from the word equal, E-Q-U-A. You can see the beginning E-Q-U is part of equivalent, it's equal also. So our key math learnings are the equivalent decimals name the same amount. And that's the only thing you have to learn from this lesson. The equivalent decimals are the same amount. So, the 2 lessons ago, in 5.9, we gave you a square, and that square was divided into 10 equal parts. And we took one of those equal parts and we shaded it, didn't we? And that meant that 1 over 10, or 0.1, was shaded. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Our next lesson, this is in 5.10, we divided that same size square up into 100 parts, and one part of the 100 was written as 1 out of 100, or 0.01. And that was the little tiny square there. You remember that?
Yeah.
Our next part is what happens if I have the one long here, long on the first square, and I shade in the first column of the second square. What do you notice about these? Caitlin?
You have 10 in that one and 1 in that one.
Yeah, we have 10 in the right and 1 in the left. But what do you notice about the amount that's shaded in? Abby? It's equal, isn't it? It's one column going down. If you look at this right here, this has one column. This also has one column. Even though this is divided up into 10 pieces, right? This is still one column out of how many columns?
10.
There's 10 columns there. All right? So we've got the same amount there. So if you compare this, we just did that. Okay. So this one here can be written as 1/10 or as 0.1. This could be written as 10 out of 100 or 0.1. But it is the same amount. What do you notice about this here decimals? David?
That one has another 0.
Right. And 0 means how much when you do area? If I shade in 0 on this, how much do I shade in?
0.
None, right? So this is actually, could in some ways just sort of not be there for a second, couldn't it? Now look at this decimal and this decimal. What do you notice about the two decimals? They are the same amount, aren't they? So I'm not changing how much I'm shading, I'm just changing the way I write it down. So what we end up happening here is we notice that these two things are equal. Right? Now, if this one here on the left, 0.01, and this here are the same thing, these two things are the same thing, that these two decimals have to be equal, don't they? That also means that 1/10 and 10 100ths also have to be equal. Those ones on the right-hand side, over here, the fractions are called equivalent fractions. But we're only going to deal with these ones right here, the equivalent decimals. So, let's check another example to see this makes sense. Notice right off the bat, there's the same amount shaded, isn't there?
Yeah.
All right, what I want to do is I want to write down the decimal on the left-hand side here. But what is the decimal for this one? How much is being shaded? Okay? Brooke, how much is shaded on this one? 4/10. How do I write 4/10 as a decimal? 0.4, exactly. Now, what about this one over here? Leon, how much is shaded here?
0.40.
0.40. 0.40. Do you notice they both have 4 in the first place? In each case, don't they? Now this one has a 0, but the reality is, it's really not shading anymore in, is it? There's the same amount shaded on the right as there is shaded on the left. So these two here have to be equal. And then you can see exactly what I did right there. So are the red areas the same? Yes, they are. So what does it say with the fractions and the decimals? They have to be equal. All right, so going on to the next one. When decimals and fractions describe the same amount of area, they are called equivalent decimals and equivalent fractions. I told you that already. So the lesson's only going to work with equivalent decimals. So let's see, you can tell me 2 equivalent decimals for this one box. Dave, can you give me one of them, please?
Yes.
0 decimal what?
Oh, 0 decimal
20. So he's doing the 20 hundredths. So he's counting the individual ones. And Tiffany? 0.2. She's counting them in columns, in tenths, right? There's 10 of them here, there's 10 of them there. So that's 2 tenths. And David counted every single one of them, and he counted 20 of them here out of 100. Good job. The next one. What about this one? Sydney? Give me one of them in decimal form, please. 0.50 or 50? 50. 0.50 or 0.50. Ryan?
Like fraction?
No, I want the other decimal. The equivalent decimal.
0.5.
0.5. Good job. This one is 50 hundredths. That's counting all the little dots or the little boxes. This is 50 tenths. That's counting just the columns. Okay? And our next lesson, our next example, kind of mixed up, but Haley, you're on. Give me one of the decimals of this. 0.3. That is 3 tenths. She's counting the columns. And Caitlin?
0.30.
0.30. Caitlin's counting all of the individual little boxes. There are 30 out of 100. That's 30 hundredths. Good job. And the next one, kind of mixed up a little bit more. Now, they're all in groups of 5. That might help you a little bit. Cole, give me one of them. 0.30. He's counted all the little ones. There are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, Meg.
0 decimal 0.
Well, just give her a second. She's thinking. Sorry?
Okay, I mixed up.
Well,
0.3.
well, just think of it counting this way, Meg.
Pizza. Oh, 10.
How many columns?
6. What? What? 3.
Take 3. So that's 0. What?
0.3.
0.3. Do you notice a similarity here?
No. It's around 0.
You can't scratch 0 because this is counting it in hundredths, which is counting all the little squares, David. This is counting in columns. If I take this one right here and I move it over to here, right, that makes one full column, doesn't it? If I take this one and move it over to here, that makes another full column, doesn't it? So there's 10 and 10, so those are tenths. 1, 2, and I can move this one over. So I have 3 full columns, a whole bunch of scribbling, but you understand what I mean, right? All right.
Yeah.
Let's remove the shape now and work with just the decimals.
I know it. Oh, easy.
All right. Now I've got 0.3. What is that? Equivalent decimal for 0.3. Tiffany.
3. No.
0. Did you lose your place? You did not. Okay, Brooke, what do you got? 0.3? That's what I already got. I need another one. 0.30. All right, we'll get Tiffany to try on the next one. 0. Okay, cool. The next one. 0.8. Good job. And Abby, the last one. I think it's going to stay yellow. Okay, try it. Come on, Abby. 0 decimal or 0.90. Thank you very much. Does everybody understand so far what we're doing? All right, next one. Okay, I want to do one last thing before we go on to your assignments. I want you to see if you can tell me another equivalent fraction for this one. And this one's going to be a little bit, it's looking into the future, several grades. What do you think, David?
It's 30 and no. I know. You gotta guess.
You don't know? Okay.
Oh.
Sydney?
Get it now. 58.
She's guessing.
0. Can't do that. Can't do that. That means it's over 1,000. That's it's like a
Close,
10,000.
but not quite. It doesn't have, I'll give you a hint. That's not there.
Oh.
Caitlin? There you go. This is breaking us into 300 out of 1,000. If you had 1,000 grids, you don't have one, but if I had 1,000 watt grid, what that would do is that would look very similar to having 10 slots, but they'd still have 3 totally done. But there would be like 100 here, 100 here, and 100 here out of the 10 rows. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. If you are done, you can start this assignment, but this one is not for homework. The one from the last lesson was for homework, okay? So page 204, get started on it. You got about 5-6 minutes to get busy.